So,
is it
question.
moral
Thank you.
Is it moral to use sentient beings without their consent? We do it every day, even our own humans.
Sure. Is it moral?
We slave our own people. Hold on.
Is it moral? Is it moral?
That's simple. Yes,
morality is subject to observation.
Is it moral to you?
To me? Depends on what we're using them for. If it's an even trade.
Anything. Whatever I want. No,
if you use me to fix your car, that's using me, right? You compensate me for it, but you
without
use
their consent? Without their consent?
Okay. So
consent? Do you know what consent is? Do you know what consent is?
Yeah, I got consent from my wife to have a kid with her. So that's why I have a daughter.
You can't force someone to fix your car. That would be immoral.
Right. So what about prisoners in prison?
That's immoral. You shouldn't use them. That's called slave labor.
So let me ask you this, since we're talking about sentient beings and all that stuff. Do you know that there is scientific high probability?
Oh my God, please tell me not the plants are goddamn sentient. Oh my God.
Don't cut me off.
Really?
Here. Listen, you
plants are sentient?
I've been hearing you
genuinely think
You're
you genuinely think
they are
you genuinely think plants are sentient? You genuinely think plants are sentient? You cross over grass and you cry because of all the sentient beings?
You're not letting me
Honestly, I don't want to talk about plant sentience because it's not real. And if you're serious, you need to go do research.
I'm talking from scientific research.
What? Name one study. Name one.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. Name one study.
Hang on. Don't go.
So I'm gonna ramble while you search because I don't care to listen to silence. So the thing is, if you look up debunking a myth, plant consciousness goes over the last 50 years of all studies that looked at plant sentience, and they came to the conclusion that plants are not sentient. All the studies that claim that plants might be somewhat sentient have not been repeated. Not one.
Yep.
Plants are not sentient. And we can continue while he's looking. Plants don't have a brain or a central nervous system or a ganglia. They don't have any kind of nerve receptors. They just have little chemical reactions that they pass around for messaging. That's it. They're not sentient. Just like, animals have a brain and a central nervous system. They have nociceptors, which are the nerve endings that tell you you're experiencing excruciating pain. Plants don't have that. Animals do. We're talking about the animal's rights. Plants are not sentient. They don't care about anything. Animals care about what happens to them. What happens to them is incredibly important. It's the only thing they care about. And you're going to take that away for your taste pleasure. And again, if you care about plant sentience, we feed most plants to animals. So you using animals is increasing the number of sentient plants suffering. So if you genuinely care about plant suffering, you would go vegan.
Absolutely.
And then I'm sure that's going to lead into crop deaths, the animals that die in the crops. Again, most crops are fed to animals. So if you're worried about the little animals in the crops, go vegan.
Yep.
I hate all arguments about crops. They come up so often. It's like the animals use most. They're destroying the planet. We're taking sentient lives and destroying our planet. It's just it's insane.
They don't realize how much we feed grains and soy to
92.2 billion animals. 92.2 billion animals need to be fed annually, every year. Mm-hmm. We have 8 billion humans and many of them starving.
Do you have pets?
I have companions, but I don't have pets. I don't buy animals to entertain myself.
What do you think is going to happen to you when you die in the house?
It doesn't matter.
It does.
No, it doesn't. Because animals are moral patients. Is this your reason for not going vegan? Because it's a pathetic one.
No, I was vegan for a year. What about bone density?
So why aren't you vegan now? Why aren't you vegan now?
Let's talk about the health.
Gizmo, stop. Do you want to have a conversation, or are you just going to spit out garbage?
Do you know about bone density loss?
Look, you want to be vegan and healthy? Go to any of these resources. Any of them. Any of them.
Yeah. Do you know?
I asked a question and you haven't answered it. Are you aware of bone density loss with veganism?
There is. No
you know that when I was vegan for a year, and I did this on purpose. I went vegan for 1 year, 365 days.
A year is not long enough. Gizmo, goodbye. I'm not going to let you spout your misinformation. Not true.
No,
Not true.
not.
You know what gives you bone density?
Is milk.
Jumping.
Jumping.
That gives you bone density. Hitting things, like that gives you eating dark leafy greens with maybe some citrus.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that absorbs vitamins or your iron, not your calcium. But still, dark leafy greens have great sources of calcium in them.
Right.